Today we explore the fourth Hebrew letter, Dalet, a doorway into humility, giving, and divine access. Dalet means door. Its shape resembles a doorway, a vertical line with a roof, slightly bent to show humility. It reminds us that every threshold we cross can lead to transformation. Dalet is the passage between the seen and unseen, much like a portal or doorway to the invisible realm. In Hebrew thought, Dalet symbolizes the poor, the humble, and those in need, because the word dal means weak or poor. Dalet stands beside Gimel, which means giving. Gimel runs toward Dalet to give, and Dalet receives, a picture of grace flowing from God to us. Dalet teaches us that to enter the kingdom, we come through the door of humility. Yeshua, Jesus, said, "I am the door," John 10 verse 9. Through him we pass into life, safety, and pasture. Dalet reminds us that being empty is not failure. It makes space for God's fullness. In Gematria, Dalet has the numerical value of 4. 4 represents creation, 4 directions, 4 seasons, 4 elements. Dalet connects heaven's completeness with earthly order, a doorway between divine and human realms. Where in your life is God asking you to walk through a new door? How can you embody humility, making space for generosity, wisdom, and love? Practice gratitude for the doors you've already passed through. Each threshold shaped your destiny. Dalet is the door. Step through with humility, and you'll discover grace waiting on the other side.
Dalet is not only the door of humility, it is the doorway of union, a passage where heaven and earth meet. The cross is the doorway. The cross is the Dalet of history, the doorway where God and man meet. In theosis, which means union or oneness with God, we don't only approach God through Christ, we are joined with him. At the cross, the doorway became a two-way passage. God entered our humanity, and we enter his divinity. In the book of Revelation, Jesus says, "See, I have set before you an open door, which no one can shut," Revelation 3 verse 8. This is not merely opportunity, it is perpetual access. The door into God's presence is permanently open. What he opened at the cross can never be closed. The ancient pictograph for Dalet was a tent door, a flap of fabric that could be drawn aside. This image shows hospitality. The tent of God is open, inviting us inside. Jesus himself lived with this perpetual open tent flap, a continuous doorway into his Father's presence. Jesus had an open heaven and direct access to the Father perpetually. No one has ascended into heaven except the one who descended from heaven, the Son of Man, who is in heaven, John 3 verse 13. He lived in two realms at once, earth and heaven, time and eternity. John writes, "The Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, has made him known," John 1 verse 18. Jesus said, "I can do nothing of myself. I only do what I see my Father doing, and say what I hear my Father saying," John 5 verse 19, John 12 verse 49. The door of heaven was always open to him. He carried a living portal within. Our theosis is that same open door. In Christ, this same access is ours. The flap of the tent has been drawn back. We are not outsiders peeking in. We are invited through the door, to dwell in union. Theosis is this, to live in the bosom of the Father, as Christ does. The door is not only before us, it is within us. Dalet shows us the door. Christ holds it open. And in him, we discover that the door is never closed, heaven is our dwelling place, and the bosom of the Father is our eternal home. Judah is the Dalet, the doorway or portal to Yahweh. The name Judah, Yudah, is spelled Yod He Vav Dalet He. Judah carries the sacred name of Yahweh, Yod He Vav He, but with one addition, the Dalet. That Dalet makes all the difference. Judah is literally Yahweh plus Dalet. The Dalet, door, is the entryway, the portal into the fullness of Yahweh. Judah, Yudah, comes from the Hebrew root yada, meaning to throw or cast the hand, to praise, to confess, to surrender. Judah is the picture of a person with hands cast wide open toward heaven in praise, surrender, and letting go. Judah means praise, but more deeply it means praise as surrender by letting go and yielding. This is the open door to Yahweh. Dalet turns Yahweh into Judah. Without Dalet, it's the sacred name. With Dalet, it becomes the name of the tribe that leads Israel in worship and warfare. Praise as surrender by letting go and yielding is the door that ushers us into the presence of God. When we surrender with open hands, We pass through the Dalet into communion with him. Judah was chosen as the tribe of kingship. From Judah came David, and ultimately Messiah. Why? Because the kingly line must always pass through the Dalet of humility, surrender, and praise. Judah was also placed first whenever Israel marched. Praise a surrender by letting go and yielding opens the way. The banner of Judah bore the Lion of Judah, roaring at the doorway of heaven and earth. In Judah we see a pattern, God's sacred name plus humanity's doorway. The Dalet represents our side of the covenant, the place of surrender, where man stretches out in openness to God. When the Dalet is added, heaven and earth are joined. Judah becomes a living picture of theosis. Through the door of praise, we become one with Yahweh. Judah is more than a name. It is Yahweh with a doorway. When we cast our hands wide in surrender and yield, we step through that door, and find ourselves face to face with the Lion of Judah, who leads us into the bosom of the Father.